Hello and welcome to another edition of Storytelling on Orchard Street. I'm your host, Pete Salamita. We're in the podcast studios of P&T Knitwear Bookstore, 180 Orchard Street in Lower Manhattan. It's a great bookstore. They got a lot of all genres of books you can peruse and hopefully buy. They got an excellent cafe in the back. You have something to drink and eat. And they have a lot of events here, so you should go on their webpage and check out their calendar. With me today is Joe Louis Allen Jr., a.k.a. Joetry. Joetry can be described in many different ways. His history is best told through him and his published works tell a saga that has ended, restarted, and is ongoing learning experience. His works and his life progression is a mixture of ugly times and overcoming, and still breathing reflects on his importance of living, and the beat goes on at my own pace is the place he is in now, or is it? Find out for yourself by listening to my esteemed guests. Thank you, Joe, for coming.
No problem. How are you doing today?
Great.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your background, but first let's mention how we met. I started going to the event every Tuesday. Second Tuesday of every month. At Ken Siegelman's Brooklyn Poetry Outreach at the New York Public Library in Park Slope, and now it's hosted by Anthony Vigoretto and Evelyn Katz. But you have a long-standing involvement with the reading.
Yes, I do.
So you actually met Ken.
Yeah, that was actually part of part of me getting serious with my poetry. I mean, I've been doing this for years, but let's say this was part of my addiction recovery. I was in Phoenix House, and Ken Siegelman, Avrin Sawyer, and Anthony Vigoretto came to Phoenix House as part of a project to start a poetry club.
Right.
And so me and about 7 other people joined the club.
How long ago was this?
This was in 2014.
Okay.
Yes, I remember 2000.
About 12 years ago.
2013, 14. I
Right.
remember that because of I'm not going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm in New York. I
Right.
can't say that. But anyway, they came in 2014. So they would come every week, and we would sit in the library of Phoenix House, and we would have like what we called theme poetry. So
Right.
somebody would pick a topic, and all 10 of us would write a poem about that topic, and then we would all read them back to each other. And the diversity was so crazy that we used to wow,
Right.
everybody's good, but everybody's different. And what happened was they asked us, would we like to come to Ken Siegelman's Brooklyn Poetry Outreach when it was at Barnes & Noble's.
Okay.
Same area as where we at with Park Slope.
The one on 7th Avenue?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was there in the basement.
Right.
And we were like, well, we didn't know if they were going to allow us to do that. We were in drug treatment. So
Right.
what I did is I wrote up a proposal and gave it to the director, and he okayed it.
Right.
So all of us were able to go out. We went out.
Well, it's a
that
good thing they
one
did
Tuesday.
because it took foresight on somebody's part to have that trust in you guys to do it.
And when we got there, we had a bunch of dynamite poets, and I just hate to say some of them have passed. There's only, I think of the 7 or 8 of us, there's only about 4 of us alive now.
Right.
So
I would think that if you're in a drug treatment program, something like that would be so valuable to give you an outlet to express yourself and to get outside of your own world, right?
Right, it is, but see, when it comes to those treatment programs, it's about trust.
Right.
Like if you let 7 or 8 people out, not everybody's on the same accord.
Right.
Somebody can go out and do something.
When you say
without
drug treatment, was this like
this was an inpatient.
inpatient? Right.
I was in there for 18 months. I was
Right.
in there. I took what they call the fast track program, 6 months of treatment, 6 months of training.
Right.
And I went into office associates. I got a job with them.
So I can see why it was a leap of faith for them to allow this.
But I also was the one that pushed the windows on everything.
Right.
I had a running club.
Oh.
We'd go out early in the
Good
morning.
for you, man.
And run.
You like to get stuff done, right?
Yeah, and now I'm an avid runner.
Right.
Because of that.
All right.
So
When you say average, you do marathons?
yes, I've done six marathons out the last 9.
Do you do like the full marathon?
Yeah, full marathon.
Holy cow! Like the
17,
26 mile, the New York City one.
26.2.
Damn,
That's what
man.
I did 17, 18, 19. I skipped 20 because of COVID. I did 21, 22, and I just did 23.
You know, it's funny.
I mean, 25.
One of my recent guests, Larry O'Connor, he's in his 70s and he's still doing marathons.
Yeah.
I could barely run around the block.
Actually, I have
It takes a lot of work to do something like that, man.
the Brooklyn Half Marathon is coming up on May 15th, and I'm actually in there. It's hard to get in the New York City Marathon now. There's so many people.
Sure.
So it's a lottery. I didn't make the lottery, but I can run it what they call virtual.
Right.
That means you can run 26.2 miles anywhere, track it on your phone or your watch, and then send the proof to New York Roadrunners. They'll give you credit and send you a virtual medal.
Right.
You know, instead of
So we have a little glimpse of your current life or your most recent history. Let's go back to your early days. You were born in the Bronx.
born in South Bronx. I was born in the old Lincoln Hospital, which is said to bring all the crazy people.
Oh.
That's what they used to say, that if you lived through that old Lincoln Hospital, you lived through something.
Right.
So yeah, I was born in January 1964, and I lived in the real South Bronx, the one that burnt down,
Right.
with the abandoned buildings.
In those days, it must have been pretty rough.
Yeah, and
Right.
we were living on Union Avenue, 163rd
When,
Street.
do you know when it went like that?
Well, it was before me, right?
Right.
Before, it started in the 60s. I was born in
Right.
64.
Right.
By the time I was born, it was already like that.
Right.
We used to play in abandoned yards.
I mean, this is a dumb question because I don't know the history. Do you know what precipitated that?
Landlords not being able to afford their property started burning down their own buildings for the
Right,
insurance
of
money.
course.
Yeah,
Right,
for the insurance money, or
Right.
tenants weren't paying, so they had to get everybody out.
Right, of
It
course.
was, it was a lot.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you're a kid growing up. What was your family life like?
Family life was, for me, it was normal. My mother and father were there. They
Mm-hmm. Right.
worked. My father worked hard. My mother stayed home.
What did your father do?
He was a flavorer for a candy factory.
Okay.
He
A
worked
flavorer?
Flavor. He put the flavor in the candy.
No kidding.
At the yeah.
Your dad had flavor, man.
Yeah.
Right.
At the candy factory.
What was his favorite flavor?
He didn't eat candy. That was funny.
No, okay.
Nah, he didn't eat candy.
Probably got sick of smelling it all day.
Could be. But he worked hard. I
Right.
think my work ethic comes from watching him
Right.
get up every day, going downstairs,
Sure.
waiting for his ride, coming back. And that was during the weekdays.
Right.
Weekends was totally different.
Uh-huh.
Friday to Sunday, my father drank. He was all weekend. He comes in Sunday, crashes out, gets up Monday morning. goes to
Right.
work,
I see.
you know.
Right.
But that was my life, and I
Right.
think that could have been where my addiction started, because
Sure.
if he left a half a beer on the table, me and my little cousin would go
Right.
and drink it and whatnot.
Of course.
Smoke the cigarettes, and so it didn't take a toll on me then, and nobody really was proving that it was hereditary or anything like that.
Right. Well, a lot of people think it is.
Yeah. But I think the good point was we moved from Union Avenue into the projects. They were right down the street, but it was almost like an upgrade.
Okay.
And that's where I lived for like 50 years of my life in McKinley Projects.
Wow.
On 161st and in between 10th and Trinity Avenues, which is across the street from a more well-known project, Forest Projects,
Right.
where the rapper Fat Joe is from.
All
and
right.
Showbiz and
Sure.
AG, some of the
Right.
artists that we grew up with.
So what back then? What was? Did either of your parents partake in the arts at all? Like, were either of them into music or art or writing or?
None of them.
So
I think I was the only one. My sister didn't even. I had an older sister just recently passed on
sorry.
February 10th. She
This year?
yes,
I'm sorry.
she wasn't into that stuff. She was just
Right.
laid back. She worked at the postal service. She retired, moved down to South
see.
Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and she just every time I called her, she was cooking out in her backyard. Seafood,
Right. Okay.
seafood. That's
Right,
what
right.
that was up there. So, yeah, I think I was the only one.
Right.
And what it was, being in the projects, being around all these people, I don't know what it was. I was able to rhyme easily.
So you did it back as a kid.
Yeah.
This is not a new thing.
No,
No.
this is where I want to go. Elementary, junior high school started really
Uh-huh.
to flourish. Because like I said, I was able to just rhyme. And there was a
Right.
guy, I'm going to mention his name, Gordon Flowers. He came to me one time. He was like, listen, I like this girl. Could you write me a poem for her?
Oh.
But back then it was just the roses are red,
Sure,
violets
of
are
course.
blue.
Right.
There's such
Yeah,
and such
that's-
and something when I look at you.
Yeah.
And he would pay me a quarter.
Wow.
And he would go
You-
give it to
a paid
her.
poet.
Yeah. He'd go give it to her, and he'd come back, he'd go write me another one. It worked. And
right.
that's what I did.
Wow. Look at you, man.
But then,
Did you have a business card?
no, not that, not that.
Were you Georgie back then?
No.
Okay, that came
No,
later.
I'll get to that because what happened was the hip hop started.
Okay,
Okay, back in the 70s.
and that's where it started pretty much too. South Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
what
Queens.
happened was it caught on. So being from there, we had a couple of guys that knew how to DJ.
Right.
Three of them are still DJing. Our three
Get
DJs
the hell
are
out
still
of here.
three DJs.
Get out of
They
here.
got
Really?
professional. My man Rock and Ron.
The same
has
people
his
from
own-
back then?
Yeah. Rock and Ron has his own professional
for him.
company.
Right.
Him and they go out and do it. DJ Ike, it wasn't in my crew, but he's doing gospel now. And Jazzy T Tank,
Okay.
he can still DJ, but he doesn't do it professionally.
Right.
But we were the MCs.
No kidding.
Me, my brother, my cousin.
So you were a pioneer.
My name was MC Sparky J
Oh wow.
because of my ears sticking out. They called me Mr. Spot.
Do you have any recordings of this stuff?
No recordings because we didn't have that back
Yeah,
then.
sure.
I mean, I could have brought my rhyme book. My rhyme book is still
No way.
binded,
Can
yellow
you
pages.
still do it?
and
Like, would you do it?
if I had it with me, I could do it. I don't
Right.
remember them right offhand, and I
Right.
thought about bringing it. But yeah, I did it at one of the poetry readings before. Yeah, I did one of the things about playing cards, blackjack.
Okay.
Yeah, but what happened was I ended up writing the rhymes for all the MCs.
Wow.
Me, my brother, and my cousin.
great
I-
history.
I wrote everybody's rhymes.
Do you ever think about maybe putting a book out of your rhymes?
I thought about that, but my main thing now is maybe ghostwriting. Because what I hear on the radio now is, I don't think it's up to par
Ghostwriting for what?
for any rapper that needs.
Oh, I see. Right,
you know,
right,
Because a lot of them use a ghostwriter now
Right.
anyway.
Right.
But for me to write something that's really, really good and sell it to somebody or let them use it in there and get paid for that.
Right. Do you think the rhymes have gotten the quality has decreased over the years?
Very much because mainly now to me it's about hooks.
Right.
I don't knock nobody for what they do because they are making their money by the styles. That wasn't our style. Our style was we were rhyming. We were talking about getting girls, getting money, having fun, stuff like that. Every now and then we talk about getting the guns to go out to fight because that was back
Part
in
of
the
the life.
gangs.
Right,
That was back
right.
when gangs were out. We had our crews. I grew up with the gangs. Our tenant patrol in the lobby of our building was the Savage Nomads.
Were you in a gang?
No,
Okay.
never in a gang.
How did you skip that?
Well, you knew the people in the gang.
Right.
So as younger guys, if you were doing right, they would protect you.
Oh,
They would
because
like,
you
"Oh,
were you
don't
had
mess-
something going
yeah,
on. They
don't
left
mess
you
with
alone.
him. He's smart.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was one of the smartest kids at my project.
Okay.
I graduated valedictorian out of my junior high school. That was in 1978. And like I said, everybody, when I went to graduation, I was the valedictorian, but I also won maybe 6 or 7 awards. So every time they called the award, I was going to the stage,
Right.
coming back, going to the stage. So everybody's mother knew me. Like,
Right.
why don't you be more like
Oh
Joe?
wow.
You know?
Okay.
And then I did my valedictorian speech, and that's like when it's so funny because being that set the stage for people saying that's who I want my son to be like. But that was then.
Right.
Went to high school, did fine, graduated in the top 10% from
Right.
Murray Bertram High School, which consisted of Asians, Middle Easterners. We had some
Very mixed.
very smart children in that school.
Right.
And I graduated in the top, it was either top 10 or top 20%.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. So,
I was never top 10 of anything.
okay. And I ended up in Syracuse University.
Wow.
And when I say I went to Syracuse University and partied, oh, Lord.
Right. I get it.
That's all we did. The
Right.
first semester was party.
Well, let me tell you, when I went to SUNY New Paltz,
Okay.
and it was 1975, I had no idea that it was known as a party school.
Oh, wow.
And I was kind of naive. Like, I mean, I did I hung out with friends and stuff, but I really wasn't into that much. And I wound up on academic probation.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was gonna say.
So
made the dean's
I
list.
left. I said, I can't, this is not my environment,
But see, the fact that I could do the work is
Right.
just the fact that when we got in the room, it was me. It was a huge Caucasian guy with long hair that listened to Black Sabbath and AC/DC.
Right, that was it back
Then
then.
there was
Sure.
another preppy guy. His father live on Governor's Island,
Well,
and he listened to Spyro Gyra and the
oh,
Rolling
I remember
Stones.
them. Spyro Gyra, sure.
I'm listening to LL Cool J and
Right.
Funky 4+1.
Sure.
So
was quite a mix.
We sat down in the main room one time and talked and realized the one thing we had in common was marijuana.
Right.
And that,
Yeah, we
that
Right.
was it.
Sure.
I used to come in my room, and the guy that listened to AC/DC
Right.
is going like this to LL Cool J.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
rock, and I love AC/DC.
Right, sure.
However, that's where my music diversity came from as well, being introduced to all kinds of different music.
Well,
that I've
that's
never
what
heard.
college, if you go away to college, will do to you. You know, you're stuck there. You don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You need to make friends. You need to let down your guard, you know, and what you're used to.
But I only stayed that 1 year. I mean, like I said, I made the bad dean's list
Right.
the first time, but
Okay.
I brought my grade average up. I was actually supposed to transfer to the University of Houston. Well, that's when Phi Slamma Jamma was there. Akeem Olajuwon and all.
Right.
That was Phi Slamma. They had just lost the national championship by that miracle shot from North Carolina State. And I was going there because a friend that went to Murray Bergstrom there with me was on the gymnastics team. And I got a room with him and everything, but my financial aid packet didn't come in time, so my mother didn't send me.
Right.
That's where the downfall became. Staying in the projects,
Right.
no
I see.
job,
Right.
nothing to
That's-
do.
Right.
So it was just going outside daily and sitting
Right.
on
Hanging
the bench
out.
and drinking,
Right, sure.
and all that. And
Right.
like I say, way back in the days, I was introduced to 1983. I was introduced to crack cocaine.
Uh-huh.
My cousins and them brought it in the house one day, and like I introduced to it, but didn't really catch on to me right then and there. Later on in life, we started smoking what you call woolers. We would roll marijuana, crush up the crack cocaine, put it in a cigar, and smoke it like that, which is not considered as bad as smoking out of the pipe and everything. But once you continue to do that and your money gets low and you don't have money to go get the marijuana and the cigar and everything, you use what you can.
Right.
And that's when
I mean, we're going to talk about this in a bit. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I want the listeners to know that you are a drug counselor now.
Yes.
And you've been
Well, that's what
so
led me. Like I
you
said,
got out of that.
Yes.
I didn't want to jump your story, but I want to make sure
no.
people listening to this go, you know.
So it led me. Okay, my drug use led me into treatment.
Right.
So let's just segue like that. So all I did, like I said, I smoked crack for 20 years off and on.
So what was your life? Because I just want to know what the life of an addict like that is like. Like what are you doing? Like just surviving, just you know,
chasing money.
Right.
Chasing money, trying to get more of the drug, borrowing money. Well, supposedly borrowing from my mother.
Right.
I get $5 here, I get $10, bugging my father for this.
Were you having family problems at this point? Were they
Yeah.
worried about you?
Oh,
or-
definitely.
Yeah.
Because I was hustling, I was stealing, I was
And
doing.
they knew.
They knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
Did
Quick
they try
story.
to help you, or they try to intervene?
Well, they didn't know anything about the addiction. It's
Right.
like, why don't you just stop using it?
I see.
And that's not how it
Because
goes.
it wasn't part of their life
Yeah,
ever.
They didn't know. My
Right.
mother can drink and not drink for 6 months. My father was alcoholic, but
But he probably
he
didn't see that.
It's legal.
Right, but he also didn't see it, right?
Yeah, it
like
was-
he, yeah,
As long as he went to work Monday, he didn't
right.
care
He
what
felt
happened.
like everything was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what happened was, like I said, all right, let's go to this. So during my drug use, like I said, from 83 to 98, nonstop, was trying to leave to go get help I was in a drug relationship with this female. I was walking out the house. She stabbed me in
Yikes.
my chest.
Oh,
I was declared clinically dead
holy cow!
for 14 minutes on the way from Forest Projects to Lincoln Hospital.
Do you remember what that felt like?
All I could tell people, they asked me, did I see God and all this stuff. Only thing I could tell them, which is, to me, is kind of eerie. When they say walk towards the light, I was not going towards that light.
Right,
I walked the other way. I was like, I'm not ready to me,
Okay.
I wasn't ready to end.
right.
You know, I got a poem about that as well. It's like,
You want to read
wasn't
that?
it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because we're
Sure.
almost third into the show. You haven't read a
Okay.
poem yet, man.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the conversation. But why don't you?
Which one is that?
That would be a great way to introduce a poem. I just don't. I just wonder what that feels like.
Okay, extension. It says, the realization that my life is not yet over has become a constant focal point of what lies ahead. Anxiety over future happenings brings about inquisitions of why I'm not already dead. See, the expiration date on my contract seems to have been extended because on October 24th, 1998, my life was temporarily ended. See, I untangled the knots that caused this event and then I tied them back up again because the thought of beginning anew had me thinking maybe this should end. The burden of the work that needed to be done was more laborious than working out. Of course, the act of continuously failing brought about self-doubt. See, I'm not the type to ask for help, but I had to learn to kill my pride, seek out just what was needed, and with new rules I will abide. See, I'm a bender of all laws written, and I'll contort them but won't let them break. And then I watch them change before me for any other bender's sake. See, the mirror was my worst enemy, but it turned into a great alliance. It turned my vision inside out and eliminated my defiance. The assistant I sought was at the ready, and to myself I became true. I also told the truth about others, so when around me, just be you. I falsified my history by portraying who I was not. I challenged my rigid, non-thinking ego and put myself upon the spot. What you see before you is what refurbished is supposed to mean. See, I was washed and rinsed and washed again, and I'm still not totally clean. But there's a shine about me, and I hope it's visible to you. I'm building from the inside out, and I hope I'm breaking through. There's a reason why I'm still here on earth, though the purpose has not become clear, but I'm not short of seeking it out through every passing year. I help others as I help myself. That's a hand that I must lend to make the most of my life's extension before it truly ends.
It's awesome, man. So I always like hearing your poetry at the Brooklyn Outreach. It's such a long title.
Ken Siegel's
Yeah,
Brooklyn Poetry Outreach.
Because it's real. I mean, it's good poetry, but it's also real. Not to say that you can't be a poet that just writes fantasy or about other things. But you always really tell a deep story in it. And I'm glad to have you on the show because this is good to hear where all this comes from. Because when we're at these things, it's very little time to talk. We're not going to talk about our lives there.
True.
So you had this near-death experience. Then what?
When I came, I was in the hospital. And because of my history, I had owed loan sharks money and everything. I stayed in there for 19 days. I could have left in 14, but one of my friends was trying to find me a drug treatment program to go straight into because I couldn't go back to the neighborhood because I had staples down this way, staples across my chest this way.
How painful was that?
I mean,
Do you remember?
It wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
Bad. That morphine is something else.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Matter of fact, it wasn't morphine. I actually got addicted to Demerol in the hospital.
Huh.
I would be on that button every 6 hours. And then
that's understandable.
Yeah, they brought me the pills one time, and I looked. I said, "What's that?" She said, "We got to wean you off before you get out of there." I smacked them out of her hand and said, "Bring me my shot."
Right.
And they gave me the shot, but they told me they had to wean me off. So I ended up going to Narco Freedom. And I went to Narco Freedom, and they sent me to this sober house, but it was all Spanish speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed there for a couple of weeks, and we go to Bible study every day, but I didn't understand the Bible study because it was all in Spanish.
Because it's hard enough to be in that environment. It must have been difficult enough, but then you can't relate to anybody.
Couldn't talk, right. And so what I did is I called my mother and one of my best friends, and I was like, "Listen, I need to get out of here." But they's like, "You can't come back. It's such and such." So what happened was my friend went and talked to the loan sharks. One guy, he was a friend way before he became my loan shark. He said, "Listen, if he comes back and he does good, he doesn't owe me anything." So that was one. Wow. The other one, my mother and my friend got together and paid him off.
Right.
So I was able to come back to the neighborhood.
Right.
Came back to the neighborhood, did good stayed clean for 18 months. I got a job out of Narco Freedom at NYU doing audio video. Wow. That was in...
Did you have experience doing that prior?
No. They trained us in everything. That was 1999. We would deliver the VCRs, that's how old the VCRs and the cameras to the different classrooms and hook them up for the professors. And then when the class was over, we unhook them and bring them back.
That's a pretty cool job.
The people that I started with are still there.
I see that at the read-ins that you like to get involved with the mic and all.
The people that started with me in 1999 are still working at NYU. Right. I was like, I could have been retired by now. So anyway, it was in and out. I stayed clean for 18 months. I relapsed. I went back into a 28-day program. Stayed clean for a little while, relapsed. Went back into another 28-day program, relapsed. Another one, relapsed. Then I ended up in Phoenix House. I entered Phoenix House in 2010. Yeah, 2010. No, sorry, 2004. I'm going to tell you why I remember it so well, because that's the year that the Red Sox came back
Oh, that God.
from the 3-0.
Oh, that was awful. Are you a Yankee fan?
I'm a Boston Red Sox
Oh,
fan. So
wait,
that's
how did
why I
that
said I
happen? How
didn't.
did you wind up being a Boston fan
Okay.
in the Bronx?
Let's say this. I lived on 161st Street, about 10 blocks from Yankee Stadium. We used to go every day, sit in the bleachers. I'm
Right.
talking about back when it was,
Because I'm a Yankee fan. I have to let it be
this was
known,
when
by
it
the
was
way.
Chambliss, Willie
Oh,
Randolph,
yeah. That was
Fred
yeah.
Stanley,
Yeah.
Craig Nettles,
Right.
Mickey Rivers. I mimicked myself
Mick the
out of
Quick.
Mickey Rivers. I played center field in Little League.
I named one of my cats after him.
Okay. And you had Roy White, and then it was a platoon in right field. Oscar Gamble, Reggie Jackson.
Sure.
So that was my team.
Yeah.
I loved it. But I was too young to understand the business part of it.
Okay.
And when they started trading, they traded Nettles, then they traded Mickey Rivers.
Right.
I was like, I
Right.
got mad at Steinbrenner. So
Okay.
I went to the enemy,
Oh,
which was
wow.
Carl Yastrzemski,
Wow.
Jim Rice.
Oh, my God.
That's what I did. So
Right.
I became a Red Sox fan.
Wow.
I still went to Yankee Stadium with my fellas, but I was a Boston Red Sox
But
fan.
you didn't go with Red Sox gear on, did you?
I did before, yeah, because they weren't going to let nothing happen to me. They
Okay.
wore the Yankee gear. I wore
Right,
my
right,
Red Sox.
right,
We got
right.
in one fight.
Because, back in the day, there were fights.
Oh, yeah.
They were for
We got
reals.
in one fight.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
when I came, because we sat in the bleachers, everybody knew everybody.
It's not the same anymore, but the early days of the Red Sox Yankees rivalry, man, that was real.
My
Yeah.
friends were
People-
pissed, but
Right. There'd be fights, real ones too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up a Celtics fan as well, too,
All
because
right.
I was a Knicks fan.
Oh my God.
I was a Knicks fan.
I'm starting to like you less, Joe. I'm sorry.
That's why I said I said I'm in New York. I wasn't going to mention it.
Because
but-
I'm a big Yankees and Knicks fan. Those are my two favorite teams,
Yeah.
man. See, when I grew up, a Yankees fan because my brother was a Yankees fan.
Okay.
But he had the 50s with Mickey Mantle and all
Right,
those
right,
World
right,
Series.
right.
I got the 60s with Jerry Kenny and,
Okay.
and Horace Clark.
And I was 7.
But then,
Clark was
but
there
then my
when-
friends and I, started listening, following the Knicks. But my early involvement with the basketball was them winning all the time.
Yeah.
They were in the playoffs every year, and they won 2 championships.
That's right. I was
and
a
now,
fan.
I haven't won since '73.
Yeah.
Man, gotta win one.
Walt Frazier. And
I don't think they're going to win this year, though.
I don't know this. They have
All right,
trouble.
we can't
with the
talk too much about
All right,
basketball. Let's
no,
get back to your poetry.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why. So what happened was after I came finally got in the Phoenix House. This is when Ken Singleton and them came.
Uh-huh.
I stayed clean for 5 years.
Wow.
In 2009, I ended up relapsing again.
Right.
For the most
Do you have any
precarious-
idea what makes the relapse happen?
This is people, places, and things.
Right.
If you don't change nothing,
Right.
you're gonna
You
go.
got to totally change your life. Get
so
out
I
of
had
where you
everything-
were.
Everything, but I went back to the projects and sat on the bench. But
Right.
I had my newspaper and whatever. Wasn't doing anything. Next thing you know,
Was there a pull?
Huh?
Was there always a constant pull?
no,
No.
I didn't. I'm telling you, I was fine.
Okay.
I started drinking Old Duels. Convinced myself I liked the taste of beer, but I didn't want to get drunk.
Right.
So it's a non-alcoholic beer.
Are you sober that way too? Like you can't touch anything?
No, I don't touch. I don't even use mouthwash that has alcohol. in it.
Okay. All right. Right. Right.
So when I did that, then I said, you know what? Nobody's watching me. I'm grown. I could drink. I
Right.
started drinking again.
Right. Right.
But trying drinking becomes cigarette smoking.
Right.
Then after the cigarette smoking,
You run into somebody
becomes-
got a little a reefer or
Right,
something.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Reefer. And one story is while I'm sitting on that bench, this girl came to me and said, Joe, taste this. I go, what's that? And they told me what it was. Bacardi Blackberry and some kiwi fruit, Arizona.
Right.
I tasted it. I was like, that's good. I was like, here, go get another bottle. Go get some Arizonas
Right.
in the cup, 3 cups. It was 2 girls and me.
Right.
So every day we would meet on the beach and drink. Then I asked somebody for a cigarette. They was like, Joe, you don't smoke? I said, I tell you what, go to the store, you buy a pack, I buy a pack.
Right.
They go buy me a pack. They keep a pack. I'm smoking now. Guy walking back and forth with a blunt. Yo, let me get a couple of pulls off of
Right,
that. They was
right.
like, Joe, you're not even supposed to be here. You don't smoke weed. I said, you still sell weed? Yeah. I'll buy you a bag, go smoke with the fellas, and give me a bag.
Right.
And then it came.
What were you doing for a job at that point?
Oh, I was I had my own vending service, which I
Okay.
still have.
Because you had money to do this.
I still have a table that I set up across the street from my mother's building in the
sure.
Bronx. It's a vending service that I
Okay.
have.
Right.
And so what happened was somebody from my old history came and was like, Joe, you know where to buy crack from? And I was like, no. I said, I ain't smoked crack in 5 years. I said, I could ask around.
Oh,
So the
right.
first person I asked wanted to beat me up. His name was Frank Nitty. He said, I will punch you in your face if you start smoking that stuff again.
Right.
I said, it's not for me.
Right.
I'm just looking to buy it for somebody. So
Right.
he told me where to get it from. I went and got it from the guy. But the difference, the disparity from 5 years ago when I can get $10 tall bottle like this full of something, and then they were giving out little
Right.
plastic bags like this. I thought the guy was trying to beat me. I was like, he said, Joe Jr., I wouldn't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an extra one. He gave me the extra one.
Oh.
Put the extra one in his pocket. I took the guy his
I
two.
see.
And I'm sitting on the bench drinking and drinking and drinking. And then that's when the addiction snaps in and goes, don't you wonder how crack tastes after 5 years?
Right.
I went straight to the store, brought the Philly, dumped it out, kept a little bit of tobacco in there, crushed it up. It's like I never left. I brought a lighter, a pack of cigarettes, because I knew I was going to need it. And I went around the corner, and when I smoked it, it tasted nothing like it did 5 years ago. So I called the guy back up, said, I'm coming back upstairs to get 13 more. And that took me into a year of using again
Right.
until I took myself into our ACI 28-day program this was on May 21st, 2010.
What made you do that? Like why?
Because I
you,
saw myself reverting back to that person
and you
I
didn't want to
was,
do it in it.
that I had got past it. Once you get some clean time, when you use again, you can have some, if you get a moment of clarity, you'll be like, what am I doing?
Maybe now's a good time to throw some more poetry into the mix.
Sure.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll do my poem about my progression, which is called, because I just talked about the progression. Is it in here?
It's a dumb question, but you're a drug counselor. Do you use your books in your counseling?
Yeah, I use it in my groups.
Right.
When I do a group and I read my
Because
poem,
you're kind of telling people how it is, right?
yeah, they love my poems when I do it.
Right.
Because
Does it
Maybe like-
does it inspire them?
yes, it definitely does. This is one of the first.
Because I wouldn't imagine that many drug counselors can do that. Have a real, because you're telling stories about you that they can relate to, but you're doing it in a poetic way.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was written when I was in ACI, which
Okay.
is so funny. I wrote this in ACI. And
So you
we
can
had
remember strongly these things.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a real memory.
evening meetings. We have an evening meeting every night. So I read it in evening meeting. The next morning, it was posted on the bulletin board for everybody to see.
Holy cow. Wow.
So what happens was every night people would graduate because
Right.
it was a 28-day program. So every night I knew everybody from talking with them, eating with them. So I would write a poem about the person graduating.
Wow.
So every
What a cool
time
thing.
somebody graduated,
Right.
I had a personalized poem for them. And
Awesome.
I did that with
Right.
everybody.
Right.
So this was called Classic Rock. And this is about my progression and how you think alcohol is not a gateway drug or cigarettes. You'll listen. Classic Rock. Alcohol. Someone else's libations caught my attention. I watched 16-ounce curls on weekdays, heavyweights work out after Thursday. Johnny Walker bench pressed a half gallon, Jim Beam a quart. After sets of 20, wobbly and weak muscles prevailed. This liquid gym worked backwards, nothing being built. The wrecking ball of life ruled. Monkey do, monkey see. That monkey did and saw that the monkey was more powerful than I, that monkey of brass. Cigarettes. Tarzan-like, this monkey's network of vines let it move from place to place fluidly. It shadowed me through the jungle habitat of life on the trail when I saw my first camel. It was there. He coaxed my coffin, taught me how to inhale poisons that don't immediately do harm. Elusiveness, another lesson taught. See, I had hide and seek techniques. Knowing wrong, I cloaked myself into invisibility until Mom's X-ray instinct saw through my cover. Whooped my ass, she did, then comforted me by letting me eat all the tobacco I wanted. Marijuana. Excuse me. Speaking of comfort, on my road to ruin, I met a culprit that kept me at ease. Attention deficit disorder. As soon as I toked, lovely I smoked, split my reality in two, mine's and my others. Quickly became pals with my monkey. Excuse me. Okay, I'm good. Them two together gave the feeling of Samson in the era of non-cutting tools with hair of steel. That dirty lowdown made my next acquaintance possible. Cocaine crept up on me in its shiny metallic boat, powder that I stirred into my cup of insanity. Increased velocity, I could dance all night. Served as an appetizer with corruption, the entree, the all-you-can-eat buffet of destruction. Like flour to a cake, my buddy the chef altered the dish by adding water and a close resemblance to flour itself. Dinner was now served. Classic rock. My voracious appetite for this concoction stole my hunger for all else. I was ally and foe. I fought against white-coated soldiers whose endless regiment persisted. Hit one eye square, went up in smoke. Cloud so mesmerizing, couldn't wait to waste another and another and another. But the troops diminished quickly, had to seek out more. Senses acute, head swivel left, head swivel right, as I continuously search for my life's end. Recovery. Me, whose obsession was an initiation into a La Cosa Nostra-like set. No way out except death or telling on myself. Zombie, connected with legions like me. Dawn of the Dead now has new meaning as wee hours become a buffet line of half-living creatures in search of a meal to stay dead. Picture that. Every corner a Kodak moment, and the snapshot stays the same. Only the participants change. But just be careful who you badmouth, because I'm no longer saying cheese.
Wow, that's a good one. So, when you're going through these years of addiction, do you have memories of it? Some of it being fun, or was it your life just a mess?
Oh no, it was a lot of fun.
Right.
It was a lot of fun when you have the people around you and you're using and you're talking and laughing and joking and all that.
Right.
It's the depression when the money runs out.
Right.
What do I do next?
Uh-huh.
Now you got to come up with a scheme.
And also, how did it affect your health in general?
Didn't bother it.
Okay.
It's a poem about that as well, that
Okay.
it was the cure-all.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think, if you had heart problems, if your heart was racing, you took another hit, you were fine.
Right.
Because then your heart was supposed to race.
Right.
You had a cold, that my poem says, have a cold, take a hit. Got a fever, take a hit. Heart racing like it's going to come out your chest, take a hit. It was the cure-all at work.
Right.
I didn't realize to being in Phoenix House, when I went to the doctor, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, and sleep apnea.
Wow.
None of that affected me when I was getting on.
Right.
I had no idea.
Right.
So
Is
that's-
that because your mind was so distorted from
I think
the high?
I think the drug just numbs the pain.
Right.
You don't feel it.
So
you don't know.
Yeah.
You didn't care if you had high blood pressure. You was smoking cocaine.
Right. Right.
It didn't matter.
Right.
So, but now that's also another thing that I'm into now is health.
Were you able to have relationships during that period? Like, did you have any?
Well, they were drug relationships,
Okay.
like the one where I got stabbed in.
Right.
But most of them were contracts.
Right.
I go give you $20.
Right.
We do what we do. And that's
So
it.
friends, lady folks, or what do you want to say? Women or
Well, it
others,
depends.
Like,
They
had to be part of the life also.
Yeah.
Or
because
your circle was
what
part
they
of the
do
life.
is they had a name for them. They called them skeezers. These were the girls that walked around looking for guys who were willing to get them high
Right.
for favors.
I see.
They have a saying for it, do something strange for a little change. That's what they call it. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that's mainly what it was. But there were some couples that were engrossed in
So
the
how
drug.
how'd you transition from all that and being in rehab and all that to now you have a wife and a daughter and a job as a drug counselor?
Okay, so in ACI, female counselor, I have to give her props, LaJuan.
By the way, we should mention your daughter's in the studio.
Yes.
She was going to be in the camera, but she's
my
busy
daughter-
over there.
My 12-year-old daughter, Tiaja Allen, is here with me. She
Right.
spends every other weekend at my house. So,
Nice.
but she was going to be in the podcast, but she's
Whenever-
didn't want to get in.
That's okay. Whenever she wants,
Okay.
she can
So,
slide over.
coming from ACI, LaJuan Cooper, I was so engrossed in getting myself together that I started asking her to give me work while I was in there. And she would give me step one, from the rooms, 12-step program in Narcotics Anonymous. She would give me step one, and I would be so honest, and I would write it. Then she gave me step two and step three. Now, step four is taking a personal, honest inventory of yourself and telling on everything and sharing it with somebody else. So I gave it to her. And I went back in her office. I said, well, how did I do? And she looked at me. She said, that wasn't for me. That was for you.
Right.
And it changed my whole perspective on
Right.
what treatment was.
Right.
And I said to
Well,
my,
treatment is for yourself. It's not for anybody else.
right. But I told her, you are now my idol. I want to be just like you. So when I came out
So that
of it,
one moment was like a snap?
that was it. I could have been a counselor in Phoenix House, but I decided to take Office Associates, which was typing and all Microsoft
At
Office
Phoenix.
and all. Yeah, at Phoenix.
Right.
I did that, which actually paid off. But when I came out of ACI, went into the outpatient program, told them I wanted to become a counselor. I went and looked up schools. I got enrolled in the school before I went to Vesset and got the financial backing for the school.
Wow.
Once I got the financial backing, I went in, and when I came out, it was
How long of a program is it?
KSAC school is 20-something weeks, 22 weeks, something like that. Or
And what
16
are you learning?
Well, you're learning how to deal with the drug population. Ethics, you're learning. You're learning how to do treatment plans. You learn all the aspects of becoming a successful counselor.
Right.
And you have to, when you finish school, you get what's called a KSAC-T. It's a KSAC in training.
Right.
And then you have to pass a test
Okay.
to become a full-fledged KSAC.
And what do you mean by that? Like you have to, it's almost like an internship, sort of, like a.
Well, when you finish school, you're considered KSAC-T. So you can be a counselor, but you be counselor with someone looking over you.
I get it.
You have
Right.
to have to have someone with
Yeah,
you.
supervision.
Yeah.
Right.
And once you pass that test, you've proven that you understand the 12 core functions and all that of counseling, and that you understand the different. It's a lot. That test is a lot. A lot of people have failed it many times. A lot of people that work for my bosses and all that have failed. I passed it on the first try. So that took me to, I couldn't get a job as a counselor at KSAC-T right then and there. But what I did was I took a job as a house manager at a place called Damon House out in Williamsburg. I was the house manager, so you watched the people that lived in the house. You was like the overseer in the house, and like almost like a security guard.
Right.
But what happened was, while I was there, one of the counselors retired. So one of all of my peers was like, "Why don't you apply? Why don't you apply?" I was like, "They're not gonna let me work here after such and such." So what I did is I put in my application, and they interviewed me, and they hired me the next day.
Awesome, man.
And it was crazy. That was in 2013.
Okay.
Never forget,
So
because
13 years ago.
while I was in Damon House, I got the call that she was being born.
Wow. Two big momentous occasions.
I had to
at
leave and run, and she was born on New Year's Eve,
Huh.
2013.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
What a-
12/31/13. And
There's a party every year for her.
yeah, every year.
So, a lot of people, some people go to work and work is work. They go home and that's it. And there are a lot of people that, are passionate about their jobs and go home and bring it home with you. What is it like for you? Because you might have I'm sure when you have success and you help somebody, it feels great, but do you have more failures than success, and how do you handle the failures?
It depends. Like I said,
maybe failure is not the right word.
no, I've learned to detach.
Right.
Because being a good counselor is knowing that not everybody's going to make it.
Right.
Not everybody's going
And they
to
might need
get
help
it,
a few times.
and they may die
Right.
as an addict.
Sure.
You have to know that.
Right.
Because
Well, you must have seen that anyway.
that's
Prior.
oh wow.
Yeah.
When fentanyl came out.
Right.
Oh, that was 2020. 5 people on my caseload died.
Right. But I mean, even before you were a counselor,
I never had anybody die on my caseload when I was doing that.
No, I mean, before you were a counselor, you must have seen friends die or
yeah.
people die.
Definitely.
Right.
But
So-
it was a little different because I wasn't the one
Invested
trying
in
to
them.
helping them.
Right.
Right. So when you're helping people or you're attempting to help them and they pass, then you have to know that you are not a failure.
No.
Because all you can do, this is what I tell my counselors, my patients, they say they don't want somebody who's a book counselor, who just learned everything out of a book and was never out there and never
Right.
did it. But
Are there counselors like that?
Yes.
Right.
That have never used a drug in their
Right,
life. They
right.
just go through the book and they pass the tests and everything.
Right. I can't imagine that being as.
But what I tell them is no different.
Oh.
They're giving you the same information I'm giving you.
Right.
It's how you use it.
Right. True.
Has nothing to
Okay.
do who gives it to you.
Right.
So I said, you telling me because he never got high, if he gave you the same exact group that I just gave you, that you was like, thank you, that was so great. Because he didn't use drugs, it wouldn't have been great. I tell him you have to be careful of that. You can learn from anybody.
Right.
I listen to people that talk to themselves in the street.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they say some real deep stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't knock anybody.
Right.
So I try to instill that in my patients, that
Right.
you have to listen, you throw away what's not good for you, and you adopt everything that is.
Do you have any poems that would hit this subject?
About that, not really.
No.
I don't think I've written any counseling poems.
Okay.
That's some one thing, because
It's private?
it's
It's
a
a private thing?
confidential.
Yeah.
It's confidential, and I mean, I could probably write something about how I do it and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, but it's more now. It's more teaching for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've been a track coach,
Right.
so I've counseled some kids. All the girls, me and this, I got to give her props. Tracy Jones, me and her developed a girls track team in my neighborhood in the
Ah.
projects. Every last one of those girls is successful.
Uh-huh.
All 13 of them. And it's so great to know that I was part of that upbringing.
Right.
So this is what I do now. I inspire, and I try to show people that what the world is giving us is not necessarily what it is.
Right.
And I try to teach people that you have to unlearn certain things and then learn new things, because as you know, some of the history that we've been taught, not true,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a great conversation before we
Right.
came in here.
So I do have, like I said, I've not become, I've always been a rebel. So I'm the person that will stand up for everybody else, even if nobody else says nothing. I'm usually want to get in trouble because I speak up. But if you don't bring it to somebody's attention, it'll never change.
Right.
That's how I look at it. And I just did that at work the other day, and was told that the director said, oh, I'm not going to write him up this time. And I was like, write me up for what?
Right.
For voicing my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is valid.
Right.
And come to find out, he left for a couple of days the next day. And my point was proven,
Right.
that his system was flawed.
Uh-huh.
And that we would have to do something about it because it's going to affect the workers. And it affected me coming off of vacation. So
Right.
I'll just leave it at that. But let me read one of my poems about my rebellion,
Okay.
because, right, what we were talking about earlier was that in this world, about the disparity with race and everything, as we all see Donald Trump as president. But what I see is that as far as African Americans or minorities, period, they've been trying to eradicate us, wipe us out, or put us to a level where we do away with ourselves by getting incarcerated or killing each other or everything. And they're not giving us the same opportunities as people with upper echelon upbringings and stuff like that. So they keep trying. But what I'm seeing is no matter how hard they try, there's still some of us that still continue to come out on top, and they're
Right.
still trying to figure out how that is.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I wrote about.
Okay.
This is called The Television is Broken.
I like this one.
I'm cracking up right now because the system that is systematically changing to shift the tide of the one who everyone deems a supreme being is actually in the works. Not that it will succeed, but the wills have brought it to fruition that bigotry has become the lesser of two evils for control of an office whose prominence is in the eyes of the people who created it. I vote that the vote doesn't even make a difference. The real rulers of this world have yet to surface. And I'm not talking about the Illuminati. Yeah, I said it. So let the killing continue. Because there are waves and waves of successes that suppressors don't even know about. See, the plan has backfired. See, the kings are hidden among the suppressed, the oppressed, so far buried that their rising will be surprising even to themselves. The third eye opens and knowledge found becomes wisdom. Who's going to stop it now? So let the killing continue. Because it hasn't worked yet. The rising and the uprising can be seen on the horizon, which means the order to eradicate is near. Let's see what can be gotten rid of. Whole genetic lines, not when they are concubines who produce geniuses on a regular. It's not the education that's sought, but the miseducation not thought, revealed through another outlet created to out society's secrets. Social media and the enemy of the state syndrome has opened sealed racist qualities of neighbors and friends. Reveal yourself, so when the king steps to the platform, we know where to take the fight. The underestimation has already been embedded in years of slavery and acts to change the way it is portrayed. Amendments to the Constitution and laws that preach equality about how lower class and upper class can be as one. Picture that. But the outlook is changing, and it may take a lot of blood, which at least will be shed willingly, and not the stop resisting puppetry of one arms being jerked to feign movement of the captured so that they may be caged or killed. So let the killing continue. The phoenix is staring into ashes, left by constant actions that preach supremacy of codependent beings who without the lesser could not be great. Can this actually go on without the oppressed? Who would be the next bothersome sorts? The world leaders would turn on each other with greed, knowing in their upbringing that there is not enough to share. See, I may be looking out at the new king, or you may be looking back at him. All I know is that the race for dominance will not be settled at the polling place, but the door will be open for a live uprooting of society as we know it. Some will sit back and watch, but somehow I think I will be a participant, whether I want to be or not.
That kind of has a Gil Scott-Heron kind of vibe.
I wouldn't know. I never really followed other poets. And
Oh, you know who he is?
yeah, I know he is.
Oh, okay.
I know he is.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing with Ken Siegelman.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Siegelman told us, just write.
Right.
Stop worrying about form, haikus and
Right.
soliloquies and all this stuff. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm
Write what
I'm
you
the
feel.
same way. I you know, sometimes I do this. It's funny because I interview, well, not just poets, but a lot of poets, and it's all I try to do is get their story out because I'm not an educated poet. I write.
Okay.
I'm like you. I write from my gut. You know.
And this, nobody I followed. Nobody I've actually
But no,
read.
but the revolution will not be televised. You remember that one?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
That's
That's somewhat like that.
Sort of
I
how
think
that
that's
feel
where
to
it
it.
came from when I said the television is broken.
Right.
Because we're not
Right.
watching that anymore. We know where it's at. We got this. It's going to end up in the streets. I'm looking at martial law, stuff they're going to try to do to curfews. All,
Right.
It's coming.
I know.
It's coming. And it's sad.
We're in for a bad ride, man.
And it's sad. So what I try to do is, like I say, I educate others.
Right.
As they say, my third eye has been open.
Right.
I see things different than other people. And that's what I try to write.
Right.
When I write something and I'm talking about it, it's from my point of view, and a lot of people don't see it that way. And then they go, wow, okay, I see that now.
Right.
When I try to actually make it, like I said, there was a poem called Hip Hop that I wrote that talks about the scene when you were in the park with the DJs,
Okay.
stuff like that. And I like to read that to audiences that know nothing about it,
Oh,
because
Right.
then they've probably seen it in the movie Wild Style or Beat Street
sure.
or something like that. But
Yeah.
when I
You're
read it,
talking about the origins.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
when we roped off,
Right.
had to rope off a section, and only the specialized people were supposed to be inside those ropes. The DJs, the people that carried the speakers and the records, and
Right.
everybody else had to be outside the ropes, no matter how famous you was.
Huh.
If you were a well-known rapper, you had to be invited under the ropes. Come
Oh,
on in.
okay. Right.
You know, and it was a scene. And
Right.
like I say, it was I know I was a good rapper because a lot of those times
You had to be. I mean, the way you write is very musical.
I was called under the ropes at places where I didn't think I was supposed to be.
Right.
You know, I battled a very well-known MC named Little Rodney C. He was with the Funky 4+1.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I battled him 2 times
Oh.
because we knew his DJ through the Junior Star Masons. I was a Junior Star Mason as well. So our court consisted of half of his crew and then my crew. So one time we found out he was a DJ and we went over to his house and we met his MCs. Jazzy Jeff and Little Rodney C were they transferred over to the Funky 4+1
Right.
from the Magnificent Seven, which was their crew. And we used to see the Funky 4+1 in 63 Park with a person named Grand Wizard Theodore, who's world famous DJ.
Right.
You know, and his brother Kool Herc. I mean, not Kool Herc. His brother was Herc. Kool Herc was the originator of hip hop, as they say. But his brother name was his brother name is Mean Gene, and it was Mean Gene and Theodore, and the Funky 4+1 ended up with Theodore, and me and Little Rodney C met up there. But then we gave a party at Savoy Manor, and he came, I came, and everybody was like, "Yo, why don't you battle?" And we looked at that, but we did.
Right.
And they said it was, it ended up being a tie, because nobody could pick a side.
Wow, that's
and
good
he's
for you.
well known.
Right,
He
sure.
was in the movie Wild Style.
Right.
It's well known, very well known. And then another time we had a party in Fulton Terrace. Never forget that. 169th Street between 3rd Avenue, Fulton Avenue. We in there, we DJing the party. They come in, they go, everybody, part two. And I'm like, come on, man. Me and him we don't want to do that. But
Right.
we went at it again. Our rhyme style was so similar,
Right.
but he was known and I just wasn't. Our crew, we didn't go out because back then we didn't have the firepower. You had to have guns and stuff to go places and set up your equipment, because if not, they'll rob you. They'll take your equipment,
No kidding.
everything.
Wow.
So we weren't that type of crew. We didn't have that backing. We were more of a centralized crew in our neighborhood. People knew us when we went outside. The guys in the neighborhood would protect us and stay around, but we never traveled. So we never, I think that's the reason that we didn't get as famous as some of these other groups.
Right.
Because I heard Run DMC when they first came out with their first record, and I listened to it, and I was like,
You weren't impressed?
I could write better than that.
Right.
But they became world famous with
Right.
what they did. So that's when I started going, oh wow, this is a business.
Did you feel like you missed something?
Oh yeah, I still to this day
Right.
saying I can do this.
Right.
I can do it. Only the music industry is not for me.
No.
Because I'm not taking nonsense from anybody.
Right.
You're
No.
not controlling me. You're not doing this.
Well,
I don't want to do something. that
It's an
becomes-
awful industry. Remember Bill Withers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was great here, and he just said, "You know what? I'm out of here." At the peak, he could have done some more. He's like, "This is it."
Because they start asking for favor. If you want to have the next hit record, you got to do this.
Right.
It's like it's almost like the Illuminati, the Masons. In order to rise, certain things you got to do for certain powerful people.
Yeah.
And
You got to pay a price.
I was never with that. I
Right.
was never one of those people who I didn't even like being in a crew. I run the crew.
Right.
I am my own crew. I never was a follower.
Right.
I never was. The guys that I hung out with was all 6 feet and better, and they used to call me the commissioner.
Right.
That's the commissioner. Don't mess with the commissioner. And they listened to me,
Right.
So, and like I say, so this is where I'm at now because I feel like at my job, I'm a commissioner. The patients listen to me intently because they know I've defeated what they're trying to defeat.
Right.
And they take heed. And when they talk with me, they be like, not only did you overcome addiction, you're a good guy.
Right.
Like, I like you. And you don't get that too much.
So you said
As a counselor.
you have kind of plans to retire, and I think you said like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Does that mean nothing? Like
No. I have other outlets.
Oh, see.
See, my mentor, Curtis Evans, who was my KSAC teacher. He taught me the KSAC school. He was the teacher of the KSAC school. Me and him got together because one day in class he said, "Listen, I also work for the American Red Cross as a CPR, first aid, AED trainer, and I need a helper this weekend."
Oh.
He said, "It's about 2 hours. It pays $100. Anybody interested, come see me
Okay.
at lunch."
Oh.
I was the first one in there.
Yeah.
Nobody else came.
Oh.
And he was like, "For real?" I was like, "Whatever you need me to do. You
Right.
want me to meet you?" He said, "No, I'll come pick you up." So he picked me up. We went. I watched him do the training. Finished in 2 hours. He gave me $100. I was like, wow, this is the easiest $100 I ever made.
Right.
Carrying equipment
Right.
and whatever. But as I kept going with him, I went every training with him, made that little $100, but I was watching. So one day, how much do you make? They go, "Oh, I charge." Back then, it was like $70 a person, and you only had to pay $20 for the certification. So you made $55 off of each person.
Huh. Right.
So I'm like, you mean out of 10 people in 2 hours, you make $550?
Wow.
Like, yeah. It's like, how can I become a trainer?
Okay.
So he sent me to the Red Cross. I became a trainer.
All right.
I have a training coming up on May 9th. 30 people.
Uh-huh.
Prices increased. It's $110 per person.
Huh.
I pay out about $38. I may clear. I'm going to clear about $1,800 in
Good for you, man.
about 2 to 4 hours. So
So, you had a...
outlets. This is one.
Yeah.
I sell my books.
Right.
I do the CPR, AED training when I can. I also have the vending table.
Right.
Once the weather breaks, me and my brother come. We sell T-shirts, socks, old school music, CDs.
Okay.
That's my main thing.
Ah.
Old school. We talking about 50s, 40s. I have a lot of soul because being in that neighborhood, everybody wants stylistics, Delphonics,
Sure, all that
Blue
stuff.
Magic,
Right, yeah.
Bill Withers,
yeah.
Al Green. I
Right.
have them all.
I'm
A
glad
to
to
Z.
hear people still like that stuff.
Yeah. And people be like, you still sell CDs?
Yeah.
Who buys CDs?
Ah,
I said, come stand out there with me one day.
that's funny. I have like 7,000 CDs and record albums in my
See?
house.
See?
Trying to figure out what to do with them.
Well, the record albums now, they have people who actually buy them.
I know.
But
Yeah.
you're not going to get real value. Because
Right.
if you like music, you value them more than they're going to give you.
Yeah, I guess
know
so.
that.
That's true.
I know that.
So, we blew through this. We're almost at the end of the show. Did we miss anything important?
No, other than that, like I said, that's why my introduction says I don't even know where I'm at in life because I'm ever changing.
Right. Sounds like it, man.
And
I know before the show, when we were talking, you said you felt like, you had those 20 years when you were an addict that you feel like you could have done better. But look at you now. I mean, you run marathons, you're doing all this stuff,
Yeah.
you're writing poetry, you're important, you're doing important work as a drug counselor. They got this, now you got the training going on. So,
it just, like I said,
you
when I
can't
was-
look back. I mean, you're doing good now.
Right.
What the
What
hell?
it does, it just haunts me of what I could have done productively
Right.
in those 20
But how many
years.
people your age are doing what you're doing now?
Not really. That's
Yeah.
what I said. If it
Yeah.
didn't happen,
It just happened later in
wouldn't-
life for you,
Right.
that's
I wouldn't
all.
be the person that
Yeah.
I am today.
Right.
I see people now. I'm 62 years old. I see people starting to smoke crack cocaine at
Oh, no.
60.
No way.
They may never find a way out.
Right.
Never. And I'm like,
So, how can the people listening or watching this podcast find your poetry?
well, actually, my poetry is not, my first two books, Progression and Still Breathing, are actually on Amazon. You
Okay.
can look up Still Breathing, Progression, or Joe Louis Allen Jr., and it'll show my books.
So, at the end of the podcast, my wife will put whatever info you want on the screen, the way people can reach you.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we could put that.
And The Beat Goes
yeah.
On
Yeah.
is not there, but
and Instagram maybe, or you do Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but
Right.
I don't put poetry up. I
Right.
don't know. Somebody else told me I should, but I don't do it. I'd rather do it live in
Sure.
front of people like
Right.
that. And I sell my books hand to hand.
Right.
Quick story about how I got published. Girl came into my neighborhood, new girl. We was at the vending table. She walked by, 2 kids.
Right.
I spoke to her, how you doing? Whatever. She says, hi, keeps moving. So every day she comes by, I speak, and she was like, listen, I'm not looking to meet nobody new. I don't want to date nobody. And I'm trying to tell her, no, that's not what, even though she was gorgeous, no,
Right.
that's not what I'm trying to do. Just trying to show you that there are friendly people in the neighborhood. So one day she went with the 2 kids. Her daughter used to come to my table. We used to sell books. She'd buy a book. I give her a free book every day.
Oh,
You come back tomorrow and tell me what the book was about. So she would come, tell me,
Right.
and take another one. And her mother liked that. So one day she went to welfare, stayed there all day, came back past at 5 o'clock with this look on her face. I said, what happened? Finally, she stopped to talk. They kept me in there all day and didn't see me and told me I got to come back tomorrow. She said, I can't take this. I need to take care of my 2 kids. Lo and behold, I didn't see her for a while. I didn't know what happened. She went into the Army.
Huh.
Came out of boot camp. While she was in the Army, she set up a publishing and editing company.
wow.
And she came right to my table with her uniform on.
Huh.
She said, do you have any poetry with you right now? I said, no. She said, go upstairs, get 20 of your poems. I'm going to publish your book.
Good. Wow.
And
Look
I was
at
like,
that.
wow. I went upstairs, got them.
guess
She
the-
came back, took them, and that's where progression came from.
Nice.
That's her name, Wahamu Mawawa.
Nice.
I call her by a different name, but
Well,
that's
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's great
and she did.
That's a great story.
She did all 3 of these for
Nice.
free.
Wow.
I didn't have to pay
Look at you.
anything.
All right, so we got to wrap it up. I hate to say that.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay.
We've come to the end. You've been listening to Storytelling on Orchard Street, and my super interesting and talented guest, Joe Louis Allen Jr., a.k.a. Joetry. Well, I guess if people, I know at least one place they can come see you is if they want to come to Ken Siegelman's Brooklyn Poetry Outreach, second Tuesday of every month at the
Except
Park
for,
Slope.
except for July and August.
Okay, Parks. Good. Anyway, Joe, it's been great talking to you. I learned a lot. It was very interesting to get to know you better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, Storytelling on Orchard Street. I'm your host, Pete Salamita, and we appreciate that you've gotten this far in the show. Thank you, and look for our other broadcasts on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.